We are all African. My ancestors were kidnapped Nigerians and kidnapped Ghanaians. We are all African. All of us. So don't be jealous because our ancestors were stolen and yours were left back there. Did you want to go through this here?
On this one, some of you will probably laugh. Some will feel uncomfortable or awkward or ill at ease, maybe disquieting, maybe downright angry. But these are the types of conversations we need in order to make progress. You're going to hear a young African-American woman and her opinions on Africans, specifically in Nigeria, but all over Africa, per se. And their opinions about her and her mindset on their opinions about her. Is she right or is she wrong, or does she at least have a point in some cases? It's going to offend white people. I know. I even felt hurt at times, honestly. I mean, it's not ear candy to satisfy your senses and make you feel all fluffy inside. The truth, however, is sometimes hard to take and sometimes it downright hurts. That's how you know it's the truth. We'll go over this together and I'll chime in on occasion just to get your thoughts and give you a moment to process her words. But in all fairness, let's do this together. Oh, and like and subscribe or you might hurt my feelings.
The only reason why your black would be able to come over to America and be able to do anything is because of the hard work, the blood, the sweat, the fighting, and the dedication of African Americans who on this soil changed this land. African Americans are the ones who got this country integrated. Let me explain something to you. White people in this country did not give us anything. We have had to take. And this is why you see what is going on in the news and the media right now. We took their lynchings, their terrorizing, their burning down of our neighborhoods, and we continue to rebuild.
Okay, I'm jumping in early here. She's right in some ways, but in some ways she's not, because the black people just didn't have to take everything. It's not true. They didn't. They were the white people and the blacks together during the slavery times joined together to take care of business because the lynches were wrong. They never took that without somebody not liking it. It wasn't just accepted. This wasn't an accepted idea. It never was. And when it started happening, what happened here? Let me just go over the history here because I've had relatives die in the war, and it always is like it was all the black people that stopped it when it was my ancestors that did this, along with those African Americans and other white ancestors. Let's go into the facts. By the end of the Civil War, roughly 179,000 black men, 10% of the Union Army, served as soldiers in the U.S. Army, and another 19,000 served in the Navy. Nearly 40,000 black soldiers died over the course. 30,000 of those deaths were of infectious diseases. Now, blacks who shouldered arms in the Confederacy numbered more than 3,000, but fewer than 10,000. So some blacks even fought for the Confederacy, for slavery. Now, the big number here is that I want to get to, that just to get to this point so that we can understand that America was fought by Americans. It wasn't just color. It was the idea of coming to freedom for everybody. 642,427 total Union casualties. The deaths have been divided accordingly. 110,100 were killed in battle. 224,530 diseases. 275,174 wounded in action. If 110,000 people were killed in the battle alone, that means 10,000 of those were black Americans, African Americans. 1 out of every 11 people that died were black in that battle. Well, 600,000 of them died of infectious diseases. So 600,000 of them died of infectious diseases, and 30,000 of those were black. That means 1 out of every 20 that died of infectious diseases were black. Okay. The white people fought with you, fought for you. So let's get that straight. Let's be honest with each other here. Let me just go with this one more stat and then we'll move on with this young courageous woman who's speaking her mind. Enlistment strength for the Union Army is 2,672,341. These were the Union Army, the ones that were fighting to end slavery, which can be broken down. 2,489,836 white soldiers, 178,975 African American soldiers, and 3,530 Native American troops. So you do the math there. That's 2.5 million to almost 180,000. That's 1 out of every 22 people that fought in that war were black. 1 out of 22. So if you had 100 people over there fighting, 5 of them at most would be black. 95 of them would be white. So let's not try to make this to where the white people didn't do anything to help the black people end this. And that's what I'm trying to say here is we're still here all on the same team. We need to fight this together.
And rebuild and revisit and retwist and re-rise up what it is that we have done in this country. And the only reason why anybody can bring their black over here from another mother country is because what black Americans have done on this land. And I'm saying this as a person who is bicultural, whose father is not American, doggone it. My father is an immigrant, and he was able to come over to this country and do something in this country because of the black people who fought, who died, who bled, who were lynched on this land. So don't sit your black ass over there in some other country talking about what you would do in America. The only reason why your black didn't even get the F over here is because of what we have done. Doggone it. Listen to what it is that I'm saying. The reason why people are able to get onto the radios in America is because what black Americans have done, the culture that we have created with nothing. Nothing. We have been given nothing. Everything that we have in this country, we have because we have taken. Listen to what it is that I'm saying. So don't sit your black ass over there in your country where you're not doing what you need to do with your government. If anything, you should feel inspired by African Americans, inspired to pick up your picket sign and take your off your seat and go out there in the streets and protest in your land. Because I was over there in Nigeria. I walked the streets of Lagos, Abuja, and it was not Owerri. I was in, I'll just say Igbo land. I walked the streets and I saw what it was and I saw what it was like. And I talked to Nigerians, and part of the issue is that there is a docility that exists inside of the average Nigerian that I spoke to. Had a complacency and a docility that exists in there when it comes to their government. And then, right? The nerve of anyone to suggest that because of the type of trauma that you experience your country, the type of brainwashing that you exist in your country is different than the type of trauma and brainwashing that we have existed in this country, that somehow that makes you better? No. Part of the reason that Nigeria looks the way that it is right now is because Europeans ran roughshod over that country. Europeans ran roughshod over Nigeria. Took down your symbols and put up their own, implanted you with their religion. Have you worshiping white skin?
I have to chime in on there because I'm a pastor. And, Jesus is black, Jesus is white debate. Who cares? I mean, I'm not going to go to heaven and be like, oh, Jesus, you're black? I'd rather go to hell. No, or Jesus, Jesus, you died for me. I don't care if you're purple, blue, or if your eyes are rainbow or green or brown or black, or I don't care. Jesus, I love you. I love you no matter what. It's not about the color. And I just don't like the way that I don't know. I don't know. I used to have a picture in my grandmother's house. She used to have a picture. She was Catholic, of this white Jesus, just the face and walking in a robe. And I don't know. It kind of like, it didn't look to me like that's what Jesus would look like. I didn't never notice, but I think about it sometimes like, yeah, I don't think he'd be like that pale for sure. But does that really even matter? I mean, it never was the image that I was given. I was given the image of a savior, but I don't know. There's a lot of controversy on what color Jesus is. And I don't know even know if that's what she's even trying to say here, but maybe she just means worshiping white people. I don't know, but maybe you do. Guys can jump in. Oh, he was black, 100%. We got this. That's fine. That's cool with me. Or, you know, he was Jewish. He was Arab. I don't care. I just know he loves me and what he did for you and what he did for me. I mean, who cares what color he is? But if he's black, that's fine with me. Jesus, whatever color you are, Jesus, I don't care. But anyway, but before I go, hopefully you got thick skin. How do you know Jesus is not white? Because God would never give a white man that much control. How do you know Jesus is not black? Because in the Bible, he says, I am who I am. He didn't say, I is who I is. These are just jokes, okay? Okay, and one more was, how do we know Jesus isn't white? Because he came to free us from bondage. That was tasteless, but sorry. Let's keep going.
And then after they sucked and siphoned from the country enough, then they started implanting the leaders that they wanted who would fulfill their white supremacist agenda. And so now you have government officials who don't give a good about the average Nigerian because they take their money and they put their money abroad and they leave you there without lights 24 hours a day. Meanwhile, they got lights. I've been to Banana Island. I see what rich Nigerians live like. Speaking of which, if I were to come to Nigeria with my American mindset, I would be rich in Nigeria because I'm not from Nigeria and I don't have the same type of indoctrination that Nigerians have. So when you start trying to say that you will come over to America and do all this, that, and bravo, because you've been trained in a different way. If I went to listen, I was in Nigeria 3 weeks before I made it over to Banana Island. And when I spoke to one of my Nigerian friends, I didn't realize how difficult of a thing that is for the average Nigerian. So don't sit there and start talking about how you would do so much different. If anything, this is the time right now that we need to come together. Instead of being in your colonial programming and mindset, instead of that, release those shackles. Release those shackles and realize that what African Americans are doing and have done in this country is remarkable. It is revolutionary. We have changed this world because if it wasn't for African Americans, black people would still be in the zoo. Listen, we are all African. My ancestors were kidnapped Nigerians and kidnapped Ghanaians. We are all African, all of us. So don't be jealous because our ancestors were stolen and yours were left back there. Did you want to go through this here? Did you want to? Did you want to go? Listen, by the time slavery on this soil ended, there were 600,000 rape babies on this land. Listen to what it is that I'm saying. 600,000.
Now, that's a serious accusation. 600,000 rape babies on this land. I've looked all over for it. I've tried to do my due diligence in finding that number just to concur and, go forward from where she's talking. And I can't find that. Maybe if anybody out there has information to that she says is true, if you could please, comment down below, let me know where to go look for it. But I can't find it anywhere. I've surfed the web, but the web doesn't have all of the information. I thought it did, but maybe it doesn't have this. Anyway, let me know.
That doesn't even count the amount of children that were fed to alligators. It doesn't count the amount of children from backbreaking work who were never born. 600,000 more. You want to know how many rapes have to exist for 600,000 of those to result in a pregnancy? And then under those hard conditions for it to result in the birth of a baby. You want to know how many rapes had to take place? Listen. Don't be jealous because of what it is that we have done. I have a blue passport because my family was born on this God-forsaken land. And I am going to get everything that is due by my birthright of this nation, me. But I'm not going to discount the experience of another person who is more mentally enslaved than I am. I speak about this all the time. And you all know, listen, I love my Nigerian people. I do. Like I said, I'm genetically Nigerian. You look at my father, you see an Igbo man. However, my father was not born and raised on this funky land. He was not born and raised in the mental slavery, the drudgeons thereof that have enslaved mentally the people who are on this land. Some of them. Because many of them have risen to be able to get us the level of human rights that we have now. And still, every 20 to 30 hours, a black person is murdered by the police in this country. And then you see we got vigilantes out there killing black people too. Karens harassing us when we just try to live. We got your bubbas and your rednecks hunting us down when we try to jog and exercise.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have nobody hunting you down while you're jogging and exercising. Come on, let's keep it real. Could we please just keep it real? That's just not accurate. It's not. Come on, man. Come on. She was doing good there for a while. I honestly think she was doing great there for a while, but no. I mean, sometimes people say things, and you're listening to them, and then things that just shut you off. Like, I'm not listening to that anymore. Now you're just getting stupid. If anybody out there has been chased down while they're jogging or running or having their exercises, put in the comments down below.
We got hooded men who came by, poured gasoline on the things that we have built and burnt them to the ground. And we got more hooded men who put on badges every day, gavels in their hand, scalpels in their fingers, and steering wheels in their palms. We have policymakers in this country whose forefathers wore hoods and them who still have the hooded heart. And when I say hooded, I'm talking about the Klan, baby.
I've lived in the country, on a farm, in Oklahoma. I've lived in the city, in the ghetto, in Tampa, Suitcase City, baby. And I have lived in America my whole life. Never have I ran across a Ku Klux Klan member, and I'm white, so they would be open with me. Never have I seen a KKK member. They don't show their face in America. Show me one that has shown his face other than the one that Biden, our president, endorsed. So don't give me the Ku Klux Klan is coming after Africans that may want to come to America. Baby, can't we keep it real? Can't we keep it real?
So no, don't sit over there in some foreign land talking about what it is that you would do in America, because if you were born on this land entrenched in the funk and the foulness that exists on this land, you would be just as mentally enslaved, just as mentally entrained as the people who are here. So don't think that because your trauma is different than ours, that there's something better about your trauma. Because if anything, just the mere fact that you even dream, that you salivate of going to another land, shows and tells that there's something going on yours that needs to be fixed. So rather than going off and talking about all of the things that you would do in America, please do them in Nigeria. Fix your government, rise up, do whatever it is that you need to do on your land. It's time that we came together, and it's like there's so many people out there who are puppets and arbiters for white supremacy, puppeting racist ideals and racist ideas that they've been taught by the supremacist regime. And part of the issue is, and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to get out. In America, our racism is overt. They try to dog whistle it every once in a while, but it's overt. You can see from the numbers, you can see from the way black people are treated. It's overt here. Where colonialism existed, it's insidious and it's silent. You don't really know that it's there, but you know, it's like you feel like the frog in the water, where the heat is turning up slowly. You don't know what it is, but you're feeling uncomfortable. So that it's so much easier for you to sit on the internet and talk about what you would do in America, fantasizing about the rights and the privileges that have been gained off the backs of the same people that you disrespect, rather than getting up off your and doing that in your own land. Listen, if anything, I prefer the racism of the United States to the racism that exists in the UK, to the colonial mindset that exists in many African countries and in Caribbean islands. I prefer it because these people, they don't mince words. They tell you how they feel. They show you how they feel with their policy. Meanwhile, in other countries, it's silent and deadly. This is not stuff that I am theorizing about. This is stuff that I have seen. Yes, people think that we complain and that we moan and bemoan. People think that we are dissatisfied and we're always complaining and we're harping and this, that, and the other. That's because there's inequality. That's because there is an infringing on human rights. That's because there's a disparity that exists in this land. And so we speak up about it. And we let our voices be heard. Does it get annoying for people to have to hear you complain over and over again? I'm sure it does get annoying, but it gets stuff done.
I have to say that I agree with a lot of what she just said. She's on target, in my opinion, but it's just my opinion. That's why we're here having this debate. What do you think about what she just said? Let me know.
People over here talking about the riots. Oh, people are paying attention though, right? Because how many people will sit silently as people march peacefully, but start damaging some stuff, and then now all of a sudden ears perk up. It's on the main news. It's broadcasted worldwide. So yes, listen, instead of sitting there salivating about what's going on and the opportunities that were created in other countries, listen, go do your research. It wasn't but 55 years ago that we integrated. Black people and white people could not be in the same spaces. They had funky, wretched, unclean bathrooms for us, hot, dirty, lead-filled water for us. Meanwhile, refrigerated water for the white people, clean bathrooms for the white people, police to serve the white people. I mean, you still see how they're calling the police on us because they know, oh yeah, if I call the police on your, they're going to believe me and not you. So if left up to the devices of the average white supremacists in this country, there wouldn't be nothing for you to come over here for.
Well, let me know what y'all think about this video. Hopefully you left some comments down there too. And I know Africa has moved so far last year, 2023. And hopefully in 2024, they can keep moving forward in that direction. And we're going to continue moving forward in that direction with you as we continue what has been a lucrative debate, agreeing to disagree and understanding one another better as we all are brothers and sisters on this world. So let's move forward together and try to make it better. And check out that video there if you want to see more of us, and hopefully you like and subscribe here to Speak and See. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.